Alright guys, welcome back to another RV tip video today. And today I was kind of like in the middle of doing it and I thought, hey, let me grab the camera real quick. Maybe some of you have this situation going on with your RV, and if you do, I'm going to show you exactly how to take care of it, because I'm going to get right to the point. Okay, so the issue that we've had lately is that I noticed that there was a couple black marks on the airbag section of the dash. It's not happening on any other part of the dash, just this. And the reason for that is it's kind of made out of like a rubber, and this is kind of like a plastic. So what we were having is a couple issues where we were having a couple small little black marks in the dash, and I kind of thought maybe Jolly was putting her foot up there and it was a mark. Well, when I touched it, it was really sticky, and it wasn't as bad as this because I scrubbed this and prepped this, but it was really sticky. And I'm sure some of you've run into this, and if you have, what I did so far is I took some of this Goo Gone, okay, and I put it on a Scotch-Brite pad, and I scrubbed all this. Now, obviously, it started getting, let me zoom in a little bit, hopefully. Now, that little spot turned into a bigger spot, and finally, it stopped coming off right where you see it at right now. And down here also, as you can see. Now, it's not sticky anymore. It's pretty good. So, I don't know what the heck causes it, but today I'm going to go ahead, as you can see, I taped all this off, so I'm not going to get any overspray or anything like that. And what I'm going to use is I'm going to use a primer. I do not recommend just putting the finish coat over top of this. And then what I'm going to use to prime it, which I've used several times in the past, I don't know how it's going to work on this, but I'm sure it's going to be pretty decent. It's maximum stain blocking and sealing, and it's called Pro Block. Sherwin-Williams makes it, and I'm going to spray this on here in light coats. 2 to 3 light coats is what I'm going to do. You never want to put it on thick, because you'll get alligatoring, you'll get possibly an integrity issue of peeling, and that goes also for the top coat I'm going to use. And the top finish I'm going to use is going to be this stuff right here. Okay, I picked this up from Amazon. Hopefully that's focusing up for you guys. And okay, so hopefully that's coming in. Okay, basically it's going to be Pebble is going to be the color on that, Pebble. And if you got a Ford, it's typically, a lot of Fords have this color, including the Ford Explorer. Certain years this Ford Explorer, I don't know if now, but I know in this model, this is a 2012 Coachman, but also I've seen it in the 2003 Ford Explorer, and the color is kind of common. So check the door code in the driver's side door, your paint code I meant, to figure out what paint code you actually need for the color of dash that you have. So let's go ahead and get started on this. All right guys, we want to shake these cans up really well. If you think you shook it enough, you didn't. Shake it again. I normally shake it at least a good 3 or 4 minutes. Really get it shook up. Everything in this can needs to mix together. It's the same thing with the finish. Depending on how long these cans sit on the shelf, it's really important that you shake them up. So what we're going to do is we're going to lightly, you can see how thick this stuff is. You don't have to cover it completely. Just lightly do it. That's all you have to do, is just lightly let that dry just the way it is. What's going to happen is, if you come back to this, like for instance right in here, you say, oh, I don't have enough on there, I don't have enough on there. You're going to gather it up in the other places where you do have enough on there. So you don't really want it, you don't care about full coverage right now. All you care about is one light coat. We'll let it dry, we'll come back again with another coat. All right, guys, I waited about 5 minutes. It's dry to the touch. It's good. When you get the can again, you're going to shake it up again, and you're going to go for another light coat. Okay, that's good enough. We're going to wait another 5 minutes. Now, when you're doing it, make sure you're depressing this particular can especially, depressing it all the way down so you're getting that full fan. If you lightly do it, you'll tend to get little spits and stuff like that out of this rattle can. Especially with this type of primer, make sure you're depressing it all the way down and you'll start getting decent coverage. Now, if in between these coats, say you get some of that little specks out of it or spits, something you don't like about it, let it dry down, and you could take a little bit of sandpaper or something like that, sand it down a little bit. You don't want to go crazy because this has texture on it. So you're gonna, if you go too much with that, be very gentle with it. You're gonna smooth it out and you're gonna see it once you do your finished product. So let's let this dry a little bit, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna hit it again with another coat of primer. All right, so guys, I'm back. And in the middle of this dry, or actually it dried, but right after it got dried to the touch, I just wanted to say a couple things, because I had a couple little spits in mine, and I don't know if you could see it right in here. I just took a finger and just smoothed it out, and it came off. So if you could get away with doing that instead of any kind of sandpaper, I would recommend that. And also, like I said, it's always better with light coats. If you get it really thick, it takes just that much longer to dry. If you're doing light coats, it dries way quicker, and it's the same way with the top coat, the finish coat. You do it really light, it dries quicker, and you have less chance of peeling. Also, I want to also tell you guys, I've done this before in the past, and I've never had an issue with this stuff at all as far as peeling. As long as you prep what you're doing correctly, you're wiping it down, you're degreasing it, whatever you're going to do to get all the oils off of it. Some people use Armor All and stuff. That stuff has to come off. If you wipe it down with like that Goo Gone and stuff, I still wipe it down after that, because you don't want any contaminants on there that's going to risk that. And like I said before, I've never had a problem with this stuff, and it sticks, and it's gonna be just fine. I have no doubt that this is not gonna peel at all. All right, we're gonna let it dry a little bit longer, then we're gonna put another coat, and then I'll look at it from there. Maybe I'll do another coat. It just depends on how I think it turned out. So, all right, guys, stay tuned. We'll go for another round here. Back, we're gonna do another coat. Remember, pick up the can, you shake it again. I've been shaking this off camera, so I'm not going to have to do it a lot here. If I'd at least recommend another 30 seconds when you're letting this dry. Always better. And I have noticed, like, when I touch it, any of them little bumps or anything like that, it just pops right off. So really don't think you need any sandpaper if you get any kind of debris or dirt or anything like that. So let's go again. This time you want to just go around the edge and make sure you get it in there, and then we'll just go. There you go. We're going to let that dry. That's it. And I'll see about doing another coat on it or not. We'll see. We're back, and looking over this a little bit, I think that I am going to do one more light coat on this. And after that, that's going to be the end of primer. This final coat, I'm going to let dry a little bit longer, probably about 15 to 20 minutes. And then I will go ahead and look at it, see how I feel about it, and then go ahead and do the top coat. Like I said, you see how them specks, I don't know if you can catch on camera, but if I get any of that, it comes right off. So this time I'm going to go a little bit lighter because I want it to dry faster, and we don't need much. Then we'll get to the top coat. So let's go for it. That's it. That's all I'm doing. That's it for the primer. Let her dry. I'll get, something's coming out of this can, I'm not sure, but I see a little speck there, a little speck here, but that's going to come right off as soon as it dries. And then we'll go ahead and put a finish coat on, a light coat, and probably I want to maybe do 3 to 4 light coats, and then give it one final coat of finish, letting it dry in between coats. And that should do it for this project. So let's give it another 15 minutes and we'll be back. And I pretty much already shook up this stuff. By the way, we're not being sponsored for this. Not paying me to do this. I'm doing it on my own. So what we're going to do with this finish coat here is we're going to do the same thing we do with primer. Multiple light coats. Don't worry about covering it all at one shot. Make sure you push the button down all the way. And let's do it. Good for the first coat. Let's wait and let that dry. We'll shake the can up a little bit and we'll get right back on it again. All right guys, it's been exactly 1 minute. And 1 minute, look, to the touch. I can still feel a little bit of dampness in it, so I'm going to let it cure a little bit more. But just to show you how fast it dries when you're doing light coats. So we'll let it go for another couple more minutes. And I like to wait, the longer the better. More cure time, so don't reactivate it. And be patient. Don't rush things. Have a better product when you're all done. So it's been probably about 5 minutes. And we're going to do another coat. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. Let it dry again for another 5 minutes. Keep shaking the can, guys. Do not let it sit. And we'll be back. We'll do another coat. It's been another 5 minutes. And we're going to go ahead and do another coat on it. And as you can see, the light coats, also, you're not going to get any runs in it. You don't want to put it on too thick. You don't want to run it and make it look bad. We want to try to make it look as factory as possible. And we'll see. I might do a couple more coats, but I'm going to put one more on right now. So let's get to it. All right, it's coat number 3, and we're going to let that one dry really well. We're going to come back, take a look at it, make sure everything's okay. I'm probably going to put one more coat on it. Remember, in the get-go, I didn't really show you, only because I use these cans a lot, but around the edges, you could go ahead and lightly do them right out of the gate, right after you prime it. And that way you're getting all the edges pretty decent, and then you can lightly go over it. You should be fine. And then just continue doing what I'm doing, and you should be okay with it. But I'm noticing a couple specks here. I don't know if that's dirt or something coming out of the can. Not all the time of these cans, even with primer, you're always sometimes going to get some sort of debris out of it. And if by any luck, if this other stuff is the same as this primer, I should be able to just wipe it off with my finger as soon as it dries down, and then we'll hit it again with another coat. But so far, it's looking pretty darn good. So let's wait for 5 minutes, guys. We'll be back. We're back, and I did take my finger and get them little specks out that I didn't like. And for the most part, you really don't need any sandpaper or anything like that. They just come right out. So that's good. We're going to throw another coat, light coat on it. Okay. Going to throw a light coat, but we're going to put just a little bit overlap this time. Okay, it's looking good. All right, the main thing also too, if you put it on too thick, you start losing the texture on everything. So you don't really want to go overkill. This is probably going to do it. I see a couple more specks I don't like. It just came out of the can. So we'll see if them just come out with the finger, and if so, we'll be good to go. And then we'll take off the paper and all. So let's let it dry another 5 minutes, maybe 10 on this one, because I put it on a little bit more than before. All right, there it is, guys. All finished up. Still drying down a little bit in certain areas, but for the most part, it's all finished up. All the tape's removed off of it. Hope this helps out there if you got the same issue I have. Don't feel sticky anymore. So let's see how long she holds up. Hopefully for a while. We'll talk to you on the next one, guys. Take care.